Good morning. I welcome you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. There's a time for all things, a time for all seasons. In Ecclesiastes, it says there's a time to be born and a time to pass. The one I don't understand is a time to pick up stones and a time to strew stones. And I've preached it now for 30 years and have no idea what it means. The words are words, and we can banter them about all we want, but words are expressions of ourselves to one another, just as music is an expression of love from fingertips to ears. Grandma would have been really proud. But I welcome you this day as we celebrate the life of Donna Gunn, a life that was exemplified by courage, by fortitude, by stick-to-itiveness, by love. So let us not shed tears of sorrow, but let us really shed tears of joy, of victory. For if we are believers, we know that she has won the battle, she's stayed the course, she's won the race, and now for eternity is comfortable, wrapped in the arms of a loving God. Our hearts have a hole in them right now, but ultimately the memories will create the joy that will refill that space. Let us pray. Of all things, Lord, we regret coming to these kinds of celebrations, and yet when we realize that it's your welcome home that we celebrate this day, help us to write down, break down, get rid of all of those prejudices and thoughts that we've had in our minds. For we know now that our sister Donna has come full circle. She was born into a world that was not real friendly, and she exited a world that is still the same. But while she was here, Lord, she loved us just as you did. She loves us now just as you do. So help us to celebrate this day, to realize the victory, to understand the joy that is in her at this moment. She didn't want to leave, but time passes and time occurs. So bless us this day with an outpouring of joy. Let your Spirit fill us, that we might be one with you, just as she is, through eternity. Amen. If you turn to your song sheet, we're going to do Lord of the Dance because that was one of Donna's very favorites. And I understand she loved to dance, so... In the morning when the world was begun, and I danced, and the sun, and the moon, and the stars, and I danced on earth. At Bethlehem I had my birth. Dance then wherever you may be. I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you all. Wherever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance, said he. I danced with the scribe and the Pharisee. They would not dance, and they would not follow me. I danced for the fishermen, but I am the Lord of the dance, said he. Dance then wherever you may be. I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you all. Wherever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance, said he. I danced on the Sabbath when I turned the lamb. The holy people said it was a shame. And they dripped and they hung me high, but I am in the cross to die. A dance then wherever you may be. I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you all. I'll lead you all in the dance, said he. I danced on a Friday and the sky turned black. It's hard to dance with the devil on your back. They buried my body and they thought I'd gone, but I am the dance and I still go on. Dance, then, wherever you may be. I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you all wherever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance. And they leapt up high. I am the life that'll never, never die. I'll live in you if you'll live in me. I am the Lord of the dance, said he. Maybe. I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you all wherever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance, said he. I got a little frog in my throat. The scripture that I refer to today, and we'll talk about a little later, is the one that I wear. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth shall not perish, but have everlasting life. Donna believed with her whole heart. Donna believed with her whole being. She delighted in coming in the doors here and sharing those hours of her life with us. So we can read all the words we want, but she lived them. She brought the words in the Bible to life. Love eternal, love for all. She loved her neighbors. She loved everyone. So the scriptures that we read aren't nearly as important as the scriptures that we live. And she lived John 3:16. She loved in his name. Robin, you ready to?
Good morning. I'm going to try. I'm Donna's middle child, the one she would describe as stubborn and challenging. I tested her in every possible way. We always had an understanding that I was right. She would let me believe this because it was easier than fighting with me. My strong will caused many fights when I was a teenager. I decided I was all grown when I turned 18. I moved out, and that's when my real relationship began with my mom. We formed a bond as I navigated into adulthood. I can't count how many times I would call for advice and wait for her to tell me, "I told you so." She never did. Instead, she always supported me and cared for me. When I became a mom, my eyes really opened up to the relationship we had. The love for my mom was understood as I opened my heart to my firstborn. I knew now and how you could love a child no matter what they did. My mom taught me patience and compassion. Mom never showed anger. She prayed about everything, always asking the Lord for guidance. She grew up with a hard life. Every obstacle was thrown in her path. Most would turn to anger. My mom turned to God. Her faith was so strong. Before her stroke, she was known for being the life of the party. She danced all the time, brought smiles to everyone's face. She was the glue in our family. After her stroke, I watched her confidence die. She always had an unforgettable voice. She worked as a secretary, and speaking was her strong point. The stroke took that from her. When my dad and her moved out of state, not knowing anyone, she feared for her new life. She left behind all her friends and close support groups. As time went on, she found herself being accepted by some very special friends. I see so many of them. As most of you know, she was very soft-spoken, but so sweet and kind. Mom would do anything for anyone. She never put herself first. If you ever had the pleasure to sit with her for a moment, you know she was always eager to share her pictures. Her children and grandchildren were her pride and joy. My mom was only ever in one of three places: in front of me to cheer me on, behind me to have my back, or next to me so I wasn't alone. All my life, my mom told me how strong I was. She told me whatever I wanted in life, I would achieve it. I was a leader, and she knew I would succeed. I did, Mom. I am trying to be strong. I will cherish the time we had and long for the time we lost. As my heart is aching, I remind myself that you are my angel. I know you are walking with me, and still helping me through life. I will continue to share your stories and your pictures. I miss you, Mom. I love you.
Donna, born July 22nd, 1950, in Indianapolis, Indiana. Moved to California in '64. Went to San Gabriel High School. Now here comes the embarrassing. Met Raybon Dunn. We didn't know he was Raybon, but willing to be Mrs. Raybon. Child of Christ and devoted to her family, her friends, her neighbors. An honest and caring Christian. The song, "They Shall Know We Are Christians by Our Love," could have been written about her. Worked with the International Kart Foundation, Federation, right? Go-karts. She didn't drive them, she just, okay. Okay, I just get that straight. In my mind, I couldn't put Donna the Donna I know in a go-kart. She loved to dance, and she dances now. Amazing Grace. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, blind, but now see. Was grace the cup my heart to fill, and grace my fear relieve? How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no last day to sing God praise than when we first began. Many of you have known Donna a long time. Many of you have great memories. We'd ask you now if you'd like to share a quick memory, a thought of your relationship with Donna. You want to come up here?
Hi, I'm Donna's youngest daughter, total mama's girl. I'm gonna read a poem, maybe. Okay. Somewhere in my heart, beneath all my grief and pain, is a smile I still wear at the sound of your dear name. The precious word is mother. She was my world, you see. But now my heart is breaking because she's no longer here with me. God chose her for his angel to watch me from above, to guide me and advise me, and I know that I'm still loved. The day she had to leave me, when her life on earth was through, God had better plans for her. For this, I surely knew. Sorry. When I think of her kind heart and all those loving years, my memories surround me, and I can't hold back the tears. She truly was my best friend, someone I could confide in. She always had a tender touch and a warm and gentle grin. I want to thank you, Mother, for teaching me so well. And through this time has come that I must bid you this farewell. I'll remember all you've taught me and make you proud, you'll see. Thank you, my dear Mother, for all the love you showed me. Although you've left this earth and now you've taken flight, I know that you are here with me each morning, noon, and night. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone who would share a memory, a thought? You can be first, it doesn't hurt. We'll bring you a microphone. You don't have to come up front. Don't even have to stand up.
There are two things that will remind me of
Let him, here we go.
There are two things that will remind me of Donna for the rest of my life. One is meatballs.
Okay. Got to be a story there.
There is. The other is lighthouses. Donna truly loved lighthouses, and anyone that knew her well knew that. And her meatballs could not be compared. They were great. Every time there was a potluck or anything like that, you could always count on Donna's meatballs. Thank you, Donna.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I met Donna here in the church, and I never found anyone so calming and so precious. And I really mean that. I didn't know her very long, but she made a big impression right here. And God bless all of you friends and family for letting her be who she was. She was a wonderful lady. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Okay, Donna was a sister to me. My mother adopted her. The first time she saw her, they bonded because Ray walked in with a guitar case. And my mother was also a wife of a guitar player. Good ones both, let me tell you. But she adopted them right off, and she bonded with Donna. And like I said, she adopted, unlike my other siblings, I had no choice. Well, we loved her. We loved her so much. I'm going to miss her.
Thank you.
Okay. What I'm going to remember about Donna is because we used to bond a lot because of our Christian relationship also. Not only was she my best friend, she was an inspiration to me, woman to woman, and she was just really great at keeping me accountable for some things, and I just loved her so much. She was just, every Sunday I looked forward to seeing her when we did see each other. But yeah, she was just great, and I am going to miss her. I love her so much, and she'll always be in my heart.
Okay, Shirley?
Yeah. I put this together. I consider Donna one of my best friends. We spent hours and hours together. We went places, we went to lunch, we went shopping. And she always told me that she couldn't really talk a lot to other people because she talked so slow. And I just told her, I said, I'm a slow listener. So you can talk slow and I can listen slow. But we had a lot in common. And she and Ray, no matter what happened in my life, they loved me. As I loved them.
Thank you. Right behind you. Go ahead.
I just absolutely loved and always will love Donna. She would take me from my craziness where I just be like, hello, how's everything going? And just going through life, and she would just so lovingly slow me down, like just, like sitting down and talking with her, she would just give me a calm. It was such an incredible time, and I am so fortunate I got to spend time recently, just one-on-one when I did her nails. And I'm like, let's do sparkles in red. And she's like, how about we do a neutral? And I loved her love for Ray. I loved that whenever, like if we were getting into a conversation about something that's happening in the world that was scary, she would just say, let's pray. And her heart was for the Lord. Her heart, I know, like, I selfishly crying, but I know where she is. I know. And she's just beaming down at us. I feel so connected with her today, and her love for the church and her love for her family. And it was always a prayer. Whatever we were talking about, it just always went to prayer. And that is just, I will miss that, and I will always pray if anything comes up, and I will love her and send a kiss to heaven. And she loved her husband so much. My gosh. And she just is showering down love on all of us today. So thank you for letting me speak.
Okay.
I believe that Donna was probably the purest soul I've ever encountered in my life. She was just an angel on earth. Now she's an actual angel. But I always felt so good when she came to my gig and I saw her out there and smiling. And her husband Ray playing. It was just, it was joy. And I loved her very much. I love Ray very much. But I have a funny story about Donna. I hope this is not inappropriate to tell. But she was out at the casino one night with my other friend who is now with her in heaven, Barbara Colliano, which those two are two peas in a pod. And they got into some trouble one night. I don't remember who had the fake $20 bill. I can't remember if it was Barbara or Donna. But they were at the casino and one of them was trying to use it. And oh boy, the cops were called and all kinds of stuff happened. and I mean, you had to know these, well, we know Donna, but Barbara was just as innocent and sweet as Donna and oblivious that they had a fake $20 bill. But oh boy, did they get in a heap of trouble. And I just couldn't believe it. Oh yeah, you criminals, you two people in crime, you. Obviously, it was passed on to them accidentally. They didn't realize. But anyway, they would go gambling and have a good time. And I'm so happy that they're together now, because I miss them both dearly. And Donna's in a good place. I'm not even worried about Donna. My comfort, my love goes to her family. And she's good. She's perfectly fine. She's in a good place.
Thank you. Donna, the counterfeiter?
Nobody was more surprised than her.
It just doesn't fit. Oh,
I knew Donna for a few years, and she gave me a lot of comfort. She gave me comfort when I'd go down and watch Ray at the Lazy Harry's. I'd go down there and be a little out of my element, being an organist and not a rock guy. And Donna always made me comfortable. And one of the things that made me most comfortable is when I turned my back and I look around again, and Ray was out on the dance floor with his guitar dancing with Donna. Running the whole thing while dancing with Donna. Touching moment. Very touching. We love you, Donna.
come by here, Lord. That's the song we will sing. Kumbaya. Come by here. Kumbaya, my Lord, kumbaya. Kumbaya, my Lord, kumbaya. Kumbaya, my Lord, kumbaya. Oh, kumbaya. One thing, Lord, kumbaya. Someone's praying, Lord, kumbaya. One's praying, Lord, kumbaya. Oh, Lord, kumbaya. One needs you, Lord, kumbaya. Someone needs you, Lord, kumbaya. One needs you, Lord, kumbaya. Oh, Lord, kumbaya. Let's praise the Lord, kumbaya. Let us praise the Lord, kumbaya. Let's praise the Lord, kumbaya. Oh, Lord. That was it. That's all the words they got. We got more, but we got more words, but they don't have any more. Calm, yeah. Quiet. Positive. Trusting. How many more adjectives do I need? There aren't enough. What an inspiration on the days that she came when getting here was difficult. We only hope, we only trust that being here was healing for her. She wanted to be here because she wanted to be near the Lord. She wanted to be here because it was in her nature to come and be with him who loved her. And besides Ray. There's a great story of the fellow who, in his dreams, saw a single set of tracks on the beach, and then a second set, and again a single set, and then footsteps everywhere. And he said, Lord, I understand that I was walking alone until you joined me. And that's when we found 2 sets of footsteps. But you abandoned me because there was only 1 set. And the Lord said, did you look? Those steps are deeper. That's when I carried you. And he said, Lord, what's all of this mishmash? And he said, that's when we danced. In all her life, in all that went on with Donna's life, she danced with the Lord. Always. Joy in her heart, yes. Yeah, even getting nailed for a phony $20 bill. Didn't separate her from the, almost got her put in jail, but didn't separate her from the. Yes, I think she had compassion on the Sundays that I just didn't feel like I had a message for anybody, and she seemed to feel that I talked to her, or the Lord talked to her through me. But she gave such courage. All of the things that could possibly go wrong, all of the things that weren't absolutely perfect, stoic, positive. That was her. I got an inspiration every Sunday morning that she was here. I got a great hug, too, because I got a hug coming and going from Donna. Even when we had to wear masks, and even when we were not allowed to hug, just don't tell the bishop. I can't describe her except, as I said earlier, she still lives the hymn that we sing. We know she was a Christian by her love, because her love was all encompassing. She had great friends, yes, but she loved even those she didn't know real well, because she had a heart that was just filled with love. And in giving it away, she refilled it. In giving it away, she inspired. In giving it away, she had peace in her own mind, in her own heart. Our bodies are temporary. They were meant to be temporary. And when they finally fail us, then we get to go home to be with the Lord. The promise from Jesus was that we don't need this body anymore. We'll have one that's better. I'm going to be taller. No, I don't know what I will be, but I hope that Donna will save a dance for me. Yeah. When she was in problems and troubles, he carried her. In the joy of living and in the joy of loving, he walked beside her, but always he danced with her. And we can do no more or no less than to live in the love that Donna had for each of us, that Donna had for the Lord, that Donna especially had for you, Ray. You were a great inspiration to me as a couple. And I appreciate you sharing her with me. And now you share her with the Lord. We will go from this place, probably not changed very much, unless we stop and pause and realize that everyone who spoke this morning spoke of her love, of her caring, of her being, just so much in each life that she touched. A young actress who died very young of cancer wrote a note to her mother and said, "We're not known by the buildings we build or the books we write, but we're known by the smiles we put on a stranger's face." Donna put a lot of smiles on a lot of faces, but not very often on a stranger, because once you knew Donna, you were not a stranger. But I can see smiles when you started to talk. I can see as the minds work that there are smiles to be held, to be had, to be shared, because she shared her heart unequivocally with those who needed to be loved. she inspired. Help us, Lord, to respond. We're going to close this morning with the Hymn of Promise. I claim it's the most theologically perfect hymn in our hymnal. So as you sing the words, hear the words. Would you stand with me on this one, please? In the bowl there is a flower, in the seed an apple tree, in cocoons a hidden promise, butterflies will soon be free. In the snow and cold of winter there's a spring that waits to be unrevealed until its season something God alone can see. There's a song in every silent, seeking word and melody. There's a dawn in every darkness, bringing hope to you and me. From the past will come the future, what it holds a mystery, unrevealed until its season something can see. In our end is our beginning, in our time infinity. In our doubt there is believing, in our life eternity. In our death a resurrection, at the last a victory, unrevealed until its season, something God alone can see. We will gather for food, for fellowship, for laughter, maybe even some tears. We can dance like Donna would dance, because there will be music. So go in peace. The peace of being loved by one who was loved so much by God that she couldn't hold it in, had to give it. Go in peace. Amen. Amen. Amen.